All right, so it's now, well, what would it be, 10 o'clock at night. Finally come out to do a little bit of project work, working on this old yellow tractor. Can't get this thing to start. It's finally not 40 degrees anymore. It's actually down to about 28 degrees. So the guy can actually stand to be outside a little bit. But, so last week I pulled the tractor in, parked it. It was running just fine when I parked it. Come here the other day, went to crank it over. Battery was dead. Threw a battery charger on. Battery wouldn't take a charge. Battery was just, it was time, done. So ripped a Canadian Tire the other day, dropped 2 big ones, got a new battery, and the thing cranks over like a gem. But no fire, so pulled the hood off, pulled the muffler, pulled the hood off and everything, pulled a spark plug, and the plugs were fouled. So I was like, okay, well that's step one. Let's clean them up. So wire brushed them all, got them all cleaned up, and jam back in, crank it over, nothing. Pull them back out, and they're wet, but so nothing's happening there. They're wet, but like, okay, well, there's clearly no spark happening in there. So, start tracing it back. So take a plug like this right here, and what you can do is off the coil, basically take the wire that comes off the coil that goes to the distributor, pull the other side off, and put the spark plug in and crank it over, and that'll give you a good indicator whether or not you got spark coming from your coil or not. And found out that no, there's no spark coming from the coil. So then there's this wire that comes off the ignition that comes to the coil. So then I put a little test light on there, crank it over. No lighty uppy. So I'm not getting any power from the ignition switch to this wire. So I don't know if I have a broken wire or just what's going on there. It's definitely connected at the other side. I traced it all the way back. So I'm going to take the test light here now, go to the ignition side, crank it over, and see if the switch is even putting out power, because it could just be a bad ignition switch. And if that's the case, well then that's going to require a trip to Princess Auto, which is not terrible, but mildly inconvenient. It'll probably be like if that's it, then it's probably going to be like a $30 fix or something like that, and we'll be back in business. And I'll probably rig up something cool, like, you know, airplane switches or something. I'll do something interesting. Anyways, or maybe just buy a whole new ignition switch. I don't know what I'm going to do here yet, but I guess I should figure out what the problem really is. Well, I can't quite get to, it's just an awkward spot back in there. You can see, right? And you see this black, I had to pull a whole pile of tape off of there. And just a tough spot to get to. I might be able to get, yeah, you know what? If I use the camera as a mirror, I might be able to just touch the test light to the right port there and just see if I can get the light up. I poked it in the wire and cranked it over and nothing happened. That's got me leading to thinking that I got a bad ignition switch. All right, so if I just touch the switch, lights up. Now to trace that wire. That one, that's the one I gotta hit. Holy man, this is... What to do with the key now? Yeah, it didn't light up, so I'm gonna go ahead and say ignition switch is pooched. At least that's not a hard fix. So I think now that I believe I know that it's a bad ignition switch, the only thing I really should do is chuck that spark plug back in that cylinder and basically hot wire the tractor. And if it fires, if it starts, then I know without a doubt that that is what's going on. So I think that's what we're gonna do here, is we're gonna clamp some stuff together. All right, so if you've ever watched any Hollywood movie ever, you'll know you just rip these wires out from behind the dash and magic happens, but I know there's more to it than that. So the white wire is positive. This one right here, that's from the battery. That's got power, that's hot right now. If I touch that to something, that's gonna get spicy. Red wire goes to the starter solenoid. So if I touch the red wire and the white wire together, it should turn over. Right, that's fantastic. And then if I touch the black wire to the red wire and the white wire, I should get ignition. Should get ignition. So we're going to try and do this in such a fashion that I don't burn my fingers off. It's much easier in the movies. I'm not getting contact through this coil wire. You know what I gotta do? Probably help if I put the choke on, turn the fuel on. Let's give it a bit of choke. Let's give it a bit of gas. Maybe, just maybe. All the plug wires are on. All the plug wires are on. Okay. White to black to red. White to black to red. Don't burn your fingers. That gets hot. Gosh darn it. I just don't know. I might still have a bad coil. That definitely might still be a thing. So I gotta get that test wire. I wish a guy had 6 hands. If a guy had 6 hands, you could put that test wire on the other side, clamp that to something, be over here, 4 pairs of hands holding them wires. And then another hand, just places. I'm gonna let this go for tonight. I'm gonna let it go for tonight. Come back with a bit of breakfast in my belly tomorrow morning and try again. Because it's getting late now, it's getting closer on to about 11 o'clock. So guys, you know, cognitive function, everything starts to suffer at this point in time. So we should shut her down for now. We'll try again tomorrow. So I'll let you go for now. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow.